Alexa, what's the weather going to be like in London this weekend?
Here's the weather in London, England for this weekend. Friday, 22 degrees Celsius and some sun and thunderstorms. Saturday, 21 degrees and clouds with a chance of showers. Sunday, 20 degrees and intermittent clouds.
Well, let's hope the rain stays off. Anyway, that's a Mayday for Sunday. All right, lads, I'll just wait in a little bit for a few more to arrive. Yeah, there's a few things I want to discuss tonight. In fact, this will be the last one on the Friday because I'm going to start them on a Monday, which I think will be a lot better because basically there's another famous angler, Des Taylor, does one on a Friday apparently. Yeah, he does actually. He's on Facebook, so I thought, well, rather than clash with him, I thought I'll revert to a Monday. I think one of the lads just mentioned it at the beginning of last week, so I thought, yeah, rather than fragment an audience, why not change the day? And I think Monday would be a better day because at least I've got something to talk about over the weekend. Obviously, leaving it to a Friday, then I've got the whole of the week, 3 matches basically to discuss tonight. So anyway, as I said, I don't want to make it too long. I don't want to be boring tonight. And I just need to sort a few things out. I'll just wait a couple of minutes. I'm just going to move the camera around just a little bit so so it doesn't get light on it because it'll get dark shortly, I expect. Okay, well, I hope you're all doing well. The fishing's a bit on his ass a bit at the moment, I think, because the rivers certainly need a bit of rain, don't they? Fish are shoaling up in certain areas and they're not feeding. They're feeding in certain areas, and in fact, we've got a little bit of a I wouldn't say a situation, but I would say an observation that with less rain, the rivers seem to be running quite clear and perhaps less pollution in the water, which is less effluent. And I've noticed in the government are going to allow sewage into the water because of the Brexit problems. So because they can't get the chemicals to clean the water. To clean the sewage. So they're going to have to put raw sewage into our rivers. Whether it'll affect the fishing or not, I don't know. It certainly does at Evesham, I know that. Anyway, hi, who's that? Oh, my first one, Kevin. Hi, Kevin. How do I plumb the depth with a sliding stick float? A sliding stick float? Well, I suppose what you would have to do is plumb it like you would any other float, and just keep moving the shot, the stopper up the line until obviously you got the depth. I mean, personally, when I plumb a depth on a river, I'd run it through without a hook on, so that I find the depth on either on a stick float or a waggler. And then once I know where the bottom is, basically just tripping bottom, I put the hook on then, because the chances are if you try doing that, you'll hook the bottom. So if you run it through without a hook and then put your hook on, of course you can plumb the depth. I know I've done it in the past. In fact, sometimes by plumbing the depth, you will find the indentations in the bottom of the bed of the river. Sometimes you find it goes deeper in some places, shallower in others. So yeah, but when you're feeding, the main thing is getting that feed going, on your stick float, as you probably saw on one of my vlogs this week. Anyway, let's have a look. Right, first thing I'm going to talk about is first of all, best of luck to the England team. They're fishing this weekend in the World Championships. Unfortunately, the Welsh team haven't got a team in due to short notice, COVID and finances. So, which is a shame because under the new manager, Ben Roberts, I thought they might have done, shown themselves at least, try and get back up in the ratings. But anyway, as I say, the team's been selected for England, and well, there's no surprises except for the fact, of course, Alan Scawthorne's not in it, and Des Ship, which is a shame, really. I don't know why they're not fishing, but I'm sure somebody would know. Right then, Richard. Hiya, Richard. Hi, Clive. Let's have a look. What bait will you be taking to the Y match on Thursday, and what quantities? Well, as you know, the Y is underfished in the sense that the matches start now, and to get your best out of some of the swims, you need to take plenty of bait. Personally, I'll be taking at least a gallon of bait, if not more, and that would include maggots and casters, hemp, and bread as well. I always start on the bread on most places I go. So, so I hope that's helped you, Rich. Steve Burnell, evening, Clive. Fished a few matches in the past, nothing serious. Okay, hopefully fishing a few more next year with Aspiring Angling Club Trowbridge. Okay, on the K&A and Bristol Avon. Tips, advice for a newbie. Well, I think you'd be better off asking if you're fishing in a sort of in that area, in that crowd, ask a few of the local lads because they'll tell you more. I mean, I have fished them, I'll be honest with you, but it's like any venue. You've got to be in tune with it. You can't expect to go and hopefully do well. It makes me laugh, like with a lot of the lads who go chasing these Riverfest matches. They travel all over the country. They haven't got a clue what they're going to get up to, and they rely on local knowledge. So that'd be your best bet, Steve. All I can say, I suppose, let's have a look. The Bristol Avon, all methods work on there. Also, K&A, I remember years ago, squat worked very well on there. Probably still work today, squat fishing. So I would try, ask the local lads, especially if you go to a local tackle shop, they give you more advice, up to the minute advice, because the main thing is getting to know the venue where the fish are going to live, because you could draw a swim and wouldn't have a clue unless you get a little bit of information or a bit of experience, as I say. Hello, Andrew Gard. I know you fish up in Hereford, charity match. Is it long walks or can you drive to the pegs outside on wild stretches? Right, Andy, get your trolley ready. You've got to do some walks. Blimey, some of them killers, I don't know any you can actually drive behind. You might have some short walks on some pegs, but mainly you'll be walking a fair bit. So lighten up your gear, and get prepared. I know a few of them are starting to use these motorized trolleys now. So, I know they're very expensive, but maybe that's the answer for the future, especially for the sold ones. And Anthony Smith, hi mate. What do you think of England's chances this week? It's a pity Rory Jones isn't in the team in the first day. Should he be fishing? I don't know. Maybe this first year, maybe they take them in slowly. I remember when I did Clegg, he wouldn't give him a baptism of fire. He'd bring him on for one match and then 1 year and then probably fish him the next. Which I suppose that's what Mark will probably do. I thought it would be, Andrew. Yeah, yeah, you're right. Okay, listen, I'm going to before I really start anything, I'm going to have a couple of shout outs to a couple of lads. First of all, Keith Hart, I gotta thank him when he's watching this. I'm hoping to see him on Sunday. But he wrote a nice article about me in the Times this week. Basically, proud Welshman, One of those match fishing's unsung greats. Thank you very much. Our historian Keith unpicks his amazing career, and it's quite interesting because he does pick up on my successes. Obviously in my younger days, when I was in my 30s, and I was, and I've done exceptionally well, really, I suppose. But anyway, thanks, Keith, for that. Right, now I'm gonna, it amazes me. Some guys, anglers, some anglers are fantastic. You can't ask for a better bunch of guys sometimes. I know this pretty competitive when we match fishing, but some guys really are good, and they've helped me out when things are bad. And anyway, but what I want to give a big shout out to a guy who's in Australia who watches the vlogs. As I mentioned before, we're getting all sorts of people all over the world watching the vlogs, and they're fantastic, and it's great. And the guy, he sent me a little box I unexpected, and I opens it up, and I'll read it to you if you don't mind. Quick letter. Hi, Clive. Please find enclosed an Abu 506 reel. He's owned this since it's his first reel he ever bought, and he was 16 at the time. And same age as we are now, yeah. And then now he lives in Australia since 1974, and obviously due to the fishing and that, he don't use the 506 anymore, and he probably can't see himself using it again. He does a bit of fishing over there, anyway, he sent me the reel saying, please use it, and if not for space. But I tell you what, it's in great working order. I mean, I had a look under the spool, and basically it hasn't been worn at all. The little black bit, when the clip goes on to pin the spool, well, it hasn't actually been touched. So it's quite in a very good condition. Anyway, his name is Richard Coleman. Thank you, Richard, if you're watching this. Fantastic. I much appreciate it. And there's a spare spool with it as well. And everyone knows I use his 506s and 501s. Yeah, lovely, nice reel. I've already done some work on it as well. In fact, I tell you what I've done. I started to load it up. I don't know if you can see that. Not with any line yet, but I put tape on it, because when you get these aluminium spools, as you can see, you've got to put a lot of line on them. So to fill them out a little bit with a bit of insulation tape, and then I can put probably 100 yards on there, and it'll probably come up to the edge where I want it to be. So that's fantastic. So I shall be using that. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Anyway, put that away a second. Okay, right, some more questions coming up here now. Let's have a look then. And okay, Steve, thanks. Good to see you. Do a lot of rod and reel fishing, as it's traditional as yourself. Yeah, myself, size 16 hooks and proper baits. Yes, you're right there. I am a traditionalist. I prefer the old type of fishing. I mean, I fish a pole. In fact, I was probably one of the first ones who ever brought pole out. Started fishing a pole all them years ago. Remember last week I told you about that article I done with the Angling Times, and I said one day matches will be won on the Welsh Raven with a pole. Biggest understatement ever. But yes, I like the traditional stick float fishing, and I notice more and more people are using it now, which is great. And I hope that it carries on, and it'll be good for the stick float, makers anyway. Because obviously it's a dying art. And what I do like about stick float fishing is the fact you can fish the whole swim, because you're a bit governed sometimes when you fish a whip or a pole, because you can only go so far down the swim. Well, obviously the way I fish with loose feeding, you can actually cover the whole length of the swim. So that's one of the reasons. Nice remembering the Abu reel. Well, the Mitchell reels, yeah. You have to push the bail arm down and release, yeah. Well, in fact, when I done a coaching last week with Ian Hardy, he was using it, and he was like holding the line and striking, and I said, no, you have to keep the pressure on, then click the bail arm over, so the line, so you still got pressure on the fish. And anyway, it's a bit, but with a close face reel, you don't have to do that, because it automatically goes onto your index finger when you strike. So anyway, so that's a big shout out for those guys. As I say, great, and I hope as I say, I hope England do well. I do follow England. I always have done, even when I fished for the Welsh team. There was never any thing between us. There's never any arguments. Like we all got on, and I think it's great. Anyway, I'm going to come back to my fishing this week first, and as you know, last Saturday I fished the Riverfest match at down on the Thames at Reading, and oh, what a blowout that was, wasn't it? Finding a hole in my net. Now, as I already mentioned on the vlog, I actually checked the net to make sure there wasn't any holes in it, because I know, especially if I had bleak in mind, and I swear there wasn't a hole in the net. The only thing I thought of afterwards could have been a crayfish. Somebody said even a pike, but I didn't see any pike that day. Possibly crayfish, but the holes were just, I don't know, nibbled away. It was enough for bleak to escape. And as you all know, I come second in the zone, just misqualifying. It's a pity, but I had a nice day's fishing, as you see. Again, sick bloke, waggler, and good luck to the lads who qualified anyway. That's the main thing, which I thought, it was a good match to fish. And as I say, you get your luck. Sometimes you get your bad luck. So I still picked up some coin. I still picked up the section, 50 quid anyway. So that was good. Kevin, who would you pick in an England team, past and present? Oh, that's a good question. You see, things change over the years, don't they? It's all more or less pole orientated now. I know when I said this to our Welsh manager, in the past, in fact, our old manager who took over, he tried to stipulate that pole, everyone had to fish the pole. And of course, it wasn't fishing to our strengths. When the Welsh team won the World Championships, we fished the rod and line and waggler, and we won it, And I think there's going to be occasions where you're going to have a team that'll suit the waggler better than, than a pole. So who would I pick? It's very difficult this day and age. I mean, I've got my thoughts on it. It is a shame, that Bob Nudd can't get back in, because even though he's like 74 with this experience, and he's still proving that he can win, and he's still doing it, and I don't know. All right, I know there's other people like Dennis and that, even Tom, Tom Pickering. But you've got to give your youngsters a chance, because at the end of the day, you can't go on forever, can you? And but it's a shame that they're not involved, the old guard, I mean the legends, the proper legends, that every year they were in the money, in the frame, individually and team-wise. Now England are very lucky to get anywhere near it, but they're a good luck to them, because, we've still got the experience and, and I suppose, the talent to do it. Anyway, right, Peter, love the new videos when you mic up and describe the way of fishing. Yeah, well, yeah, I had a comment from one of the guys, and they said, "Oh, can I mic up or can I explain?" And I thought, well, why not? And in fact, it's got a long extension, about 4 meters, so I can link it up to the camera, and it's quite good. And I've even got a muffler on there now. Look. Don't see that muffler? I put a little sponge muffler on it, so that when I'm talking, and the thing is, when you're fishing, things are happening, and you're thinking of things in your mind. And I think I'm improving. I think I'm starting to explain a little bit more of what I'm doing, because it'll be a great, for anglers who want to, learn these little things that you're doing, because I do things automatically, obviously over the years, but for the viewers, and it'd be, I got to try and make a habit of explaining what I'm actually doing every time. So yeah, I think thanks for that. Anyway, yes, James, James, Clive, I've been watching the old school video on waggler on rivers. It's superb. Just started float fishing rivers and being a little long carp. Yeah, okay. Carp is great fishing. In fact, people don't know this, but when when the Welsh team won the World Championships, we were catching carp then. They weren't huge ones. They were like Crassius carp and, sort of an F1 type of fish, going pound and a half. And, it was good fun on the waggler. So, yes, obviously it's a difference when you start fishing for silverfish, when you start fishing roach, dace, chub, and even bream. I've one match a couple of years, 3 years ago on our local water, had 134 pound on the waggler, catching bream. So, it could, I even, I remember going down to Porth Reservoir. I never forget. I was next to a lad in the deeps there. And anyway, he was on the feeder. And he said to me, "Oh, you won't catch much on the waggler, mate." Anyway, I only won the match, and right up in the water, little knobs of ground bait. So it's great fishing, yeah. We enjoy it, yeah. And of course, anything you learn, you can take back to the carp fishing as well. So yeah, it's a good one, that, James. Okay, Neil. Hi, Neil. I thought you might have tried the feeder. Yeah, I think I see your comment about that already. Yeah, well, I don't like fishing the feed. That's my problem, and I know I should have. I did have a go, by the way. I didn't show you on the vlog, but I did cast it, upstream slightly, and between the two, I probably didn't give it long enough because with feeder fish you've got to wait and wait and wait, and I'm not that sort of angler. I can't wait. When I feed a fish down at Port Talbot, for example, I got to keep moving it. So yes, I know with barbel you're just looking at one or two fish, and the chances are somebody else might have done a lot better than me. But I'm annoyed about that though. See, I can't understand why I didn't catch off that peg, like the two previous guys. They both had 20 pound, Steve Mayer and Dave Vauxhall. But anyway, one of the guys told me, it was a local, he said, "No, you won't catch when the sun's out there." He said it's got to be overcast. So that's my excuse. But I hope you enjoyed that video. I caught plenty of fish on the stick. I mean, in fact, I think if I would have, kept on the inside all match, I think I would have probably done double figures. And, which would have got probably not far from framing, 13 pound, I think, got into the frame. So, yeah. Anyway, yes, you're right there. I should have I did have a go, though. I did have a go. Okay. Who's that? Oh, Jim, I was going to say something. Took it back. From Caerphilly. Who's that? Oh, Rob, hi, mate. Yeah, I'm up Caerphilly later on to get my bait. The local tackle shops in Cardiff are open, so I've had to go up there. Anyway, Tim. Hi, Tim. Right. What's this? Balling it on many rivers is popular and a successful tactic. However, watching your vlogs, you rarely do that. Preferring just to loose feed. Why is this? Well, I think I may have mentioned this before. It goes back to like World Championship stage when they used to ball it in, and people used to think, "Oh, it was crazy," but in fact, it works. It's like a dinner bell, isn't it? And people, and I think the fish are getting used to the fact that when the balls go in. Now, I remember the reason I don't do it so much these days is a couple of reasons. Because I think you fill the fish up too quickly when you ball it in. Because as I said, it's like a dinner bell. The fish come straight in on it. They'll feed like mad for an hour or two and then disappear. And then you're struggling. Unless you're fortunate enough that you've got a lot of fish, in your area. I fished a Wednesday match over on the Avon in your territory, and on a Wednesday, I never forget, I had the organizer next to me, guy with a curly hair. What's his name? Oh, can't think of his name now. Used to have a beard. Anyway, he balled it in, and I was next to him loose feed, and I thought, well, no, I'm not going to ball it. I'm just going to loose feed it. Anyway, he caught like mad in the first hour and a half, and I thought, oh, I got no chance. Anyway, his fish dried up, but I kept catching. Mine got stronger, and in the end, I won the match. So I do it, and maybe I miss a trick now and again by not doing it. But no, I'm more of a believer in loose feeding. I mean, obviously, there's going to be places and times you have to ball it in. If you're bloodroot fishing, and even on the Wino, I've noticed they're balling it there. And I'll give you a little example. Last year, they were balling it in, and I just loose fed it. And there was I was on the Ash Path, and I don't know if you know where that is, just in Belmont. Anyway, they were balling it in, and I loose fed it. Anyway, I won the section, and the guy above me, even bowled it in halfway through the match, hoping to draw my fish off me. But once you've got those fish going on the rivers, in up and down, you know, it don't matter what you do, bowling in won't work then. So yeah, but don't get me wrong, it does work in other places, and probably, as I said, you probably might miss a trick or two. But anyway, thanks, Tim. That's a good question. That. Jim, how are you, mate? How are you? Steve, again, yeah. Was watching a John Arthur video the other day, yeah, and a jog jumped in the swim, he broke his rod. Does it ever happen to you? I've had a lot of things happen in my career, I'm telling you. The worst, I got to tell you, the worst thing ever happened to me when poles first come out. I was fishing a local Eastock in Cardiff here, and I had all these brand new poles. And mind you, I was sponsored at the time, but I had all these poles. I had them all set up, you know, all the tops kits and that. Anyway, I had a young lad come up, Neil Dibble, his name was, and I never forget. He come up to see how I was doing. I said, "Oh, careful where you standing here." Anyway, as he stepped backwards, he bloody stepped on one. Oh, and as he stepped forward, he stepped on another one. Then he stepped back and he actually smashed about 3 bloody rigs behind me. So what can I do? I could ask for the money, could I? You know, but yeah, things that have happened to me. I don't think I've had a dog break my rod or nothing like that, but I've had them break the line, yeah, many a times, yeah. So yeah, I was unlucky there for John. Okay, James. Problem is, I'm having, Clive, is tangles on the waggler. Oh, I'm feathering my line just before it hits the water, but still suffering tangles. I'm sure this is down to shotting patterns. Right. It probably is down to shotting patterns, because if you're feathering the line, you shouldn't have that problem. Now, a little bit of advice, if I can tell you, is make sure that the hook, the distance between the hook and the first shot, okay, is shorter than the second shot upwards. Because if you can imagine when you cast, sometimes that bottom hook length can flick back. And if your shot is anywhere close to the second shot, it's going to catch it. And that's the problem you get with tangles when you cast in that way. But, you know, if you're having a problem, a lot of people don't know, but I used to use, and still use it now, I only use one shot down sometimes in shallow water. That's all you need sometimes. You know, number 8, even number 6 sometimes. Oop. Hello, who's calling? Sorry, they rang halfway. Right, so yeah, just practice a bit more feathering. You know, that should do the trick. And the shotting pattern. You know, the less shots down, the less tangles you're going to get. 2 shots sometimes. You know, but you know, make sure you that hook length and the hook can swing back on the second shot. Okay, and if you're using 3 shots, then you make sure that distance is further again. Okay, so anyway, as I say, a bit of practice and keep trying that. David, hi Clive, love your blogs. Good. You call them blogs? I call them vlogs, because no, blogging is where you write down, and I learned this when I first went on YouTube, and they call it vlogging. I don't know, video vlogging. I don't know, but anyway, love your vlogs, and next year I'm going to book you for a day's fishing parade. Okay, yeah, and I should.
Incoming call from 07704 024.
I should turn my phone off, really. Hello. It's okay. Sorry, somebody's messing around with me now. Right, so all right, yeah, Yorkshireman, okay. And but live in Scotland. Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course, you know, if you're on a day, it means you'll have to come down and stop for the weekend, and or you know, or a few days, I should say, to make it worth your while. You know, just message me, tell me what you fancy. You know, as regarding what type of fish you want to do, whether you want to do rivers, you know, or still water. Then yeah. Right, Neil, what length float rods do you use? Well, do you know, I use 13 foots. I can get away with 13 foots on most of my fishing. The only difference is when I'm fishing, say, deep water, then obviously I'll use a 14 or even 17 foots. But 13 foots on most, because it's an ideal length for me. And they're light as well. The lighter the rod, the better. Especially if you're fishing a long time and your work rate is quite quick, like mine is, as you've probably seen me like. Okay, who's this? Oh, right. Gazelle, I don't know your first name, but love your blouse, Clive. Quick question: who's your favourite angler of all time? Well, that's obviously got to be Kevin Ashurst, because Kevin was my boyhood hero when I was a youngster, and he was the man winning all the time, and he was writing articles, and he was well respected, and I admired him, and I followed him, and I met him, in the World Championships, and he was a great guy. He couldn't understand a word he was saying half the time, with his Yorkshire accent. He used to say, "They all right." I think what he meant is, "Are you okay?" But no, Kevin is brilliant. And even the English managers, Dick Clegg, Stan Smith, all them, they all used to ask for his advice and that. And even Bob Nudd. I mean, obviously Bob is my number two because Bob is a great guy. He's still going strong even to this day. So yeah, Tim, great answer on boning. In order. An older guy, sorry, you seem to keep yourself fit and then take out, to other rivers. As you get older, do you think you'll ever have to transfer to commercials? That's a good question, that. Do you know what I do like, Tim, these days is a lot of these venues that I'm fishing now these days are short walks. And in fact, a lot of them you can drive behind your peg, for example, Evesham, there's the stretch, but just below it, Pershore at Twidham, you drive behind your peg. Even over on the Bristol Avon, there's a couple of pegs in, you can drive behind your peg. So, yeah, I'll be looking for them sort of matches, I think. But, yeah, one day, there's a lot of my mates now, Clive Roberts, Richie Candy, great anglers in their day, but they can't walk anymore to their pegs. So, yeah, there's going to be a cut time, but, yeah, I try to keep myself fit if I can. James again, appreciate the advice, Clive. Okay, I'm a complete novice, but I live next to the river in Bewley. Okay, and I've been enjoying fishing the float despite having a few nightmares. Well, yeah, just keep at it, mate. Because like anything else, you get better and you sort out this little ring. Because it's like when I do a coaching, I'll watch the angler first and see how they're doing. Then I'll take the rod off and I'll say, look, do it this way, and then and then after a while. And as long as I say practice this now, and then you will get better. And as I say, with the float, the tangles, that'll get better as you start to sort out the shotting patterns and the way you cast in. So yeah, I'm always here for open if you want any questions. Just message me, on Facebook or something. Steve, referring to the type of 13 foot. Well, look. I used to have Normac, right? Normac microlights with the rods, but over the years, we battered them a little bit. So then I went for the Drennan, right? The Drennan acrylite. Bit expensive, but the couple I had, I don't know, they had some mishaps, but the tips were breaking on them. So then when James Robbins from Cadence come on the scene with his rods, I tried them, and I tell you what, they're brilliant. And they're quite reasonable. He cuts out the middleman. So, you can get a 13 foot for about 120 quid, I think, yeah. But they're brilliant rods. I've got a couple. I've got a couple of 13s and a 14. So Cadence is the one I would recommend to you. Yeah. Okay. Have Anthony? Hi, Anthony. Have I done any commercials? Matches? Yeah, I did when I... if you ever read my autobiography, I tell you about the time I lost everything and after the floods. Then I had a pub and I lost that with the foot and mouth disease, and I packed in fishing for a year or two, and I come back and I went into commercials and I enjoyed it. And in fact, I won a couple of local matches. But to me, you see, I was a fish keeper for many years, and I know about carp, and they feed them on pellets. And on fish meal pellets, and they wean them, and in the end, how can I say, putting a pellet on the hook that doesn't wriggle hasn't got no appeal to me, you know. And of course, you know, I think as well, the other somebody mentioned, Tim mentioned about the physical strength side of it. Well, I think with commercials, you've got to be young and quite you know, fit to haul out 100, 200 pound bags these days, you know. And I don't think I could do that. So yeah, I have had a go, but no, natural fishing is my forte. Although I will have a go now and again, you know. I noticed, you know, that a few other anglers have tried commercials and done exceptionally well at it, you know. You know, Tom Pickman, for example, he's you know, he's you know, had a go at it and he's done quite well. And there's a few anglers, as I mentioned before, that can do the both. So yeah. Anyway, thanks for that. Where are we now? Would you fish a flat float on a float? Yeah, I do. Well, I've done it. In fact, I designed my own like bat floats, I call them, and it's like a bat wing. We call it because they're like a triangle, and you can hold them back, and you can hold them back.
Clive Roberts would like to talk to Clive Branson.
Yeah. Hi, Clive. I'm live at the moment. Can I call you back? Yeah. All right, mate. It's my old mate, Clive Roberts. He's you know, talking about ill health. He's waiting for one of these defibrillators. He's got one, and he's taken it out and put another one on. Poor bug, you know, and he can't do any fishing at the moment. So yeah, you know, as I said, any advice to you lads, make the most of what you can, because as you get older, you know, sometimes your health don't, you can't do it because your health, like, yeah. So I used to use the flat floats on a rod and line, and they're perfect for inching it down the swim, and you can cover it. I used to fish with them on a little stream in Cardiff called the it's a feeder stream, and I've won matches on there, and it was actually holding it back, and you can inch it down. Now you run a stick float, you will get a bite, but you inch it down, and you will catch every time, and they do work. I'm telling you, on a rod line. A lot of people don't use that. It's a nice little tip. That. Okay, thanks for asking that one. Sorry, Pat, I missed that one. Doing a bit of bread punch fishing lately. Any words of advice for keeping the bread on the hook? I find it difficult in running water. Oh, well, the thing is, fresh bread is the best. I put mine in a microwave and put it seal it quickly in a bag that keeps the moisture in it, and it becomes more tackier. So just fresh bread, really, and double punch it sometimes, you know, once, twice, and then, you know, that'll stick on it. It compacts, and it will expand. But yeah, try that. That might help you. Okay, Richard, what make of these? What do you make of all these pike attacks, Clive? They seem to be getting more frequently. Yeah, you've had the same on peg 113 on Wednesday, and as you did on peg 50. Yeah, you've seen my blog. See the pike jump out? I'm sure people don't believe me, but I do. I get played by pike, and I did mention last week. I think it's because the way I'm feeding, and I attract a lot of small fish into the swim, you know, and I think the fish. The pike follow the fish. I tell you what I think it is. It's because the water's been very low and clear for a long, long time. And it's ideal for predator type of fish. That's why perch. You're catching more perch now at on a lot of these venues than any other fish at the moment. Because they're clear, they can, you know, and as soon as we get a bit of rain, bit of colour, I don't think we'll see so much pike attacks as we'd be getting. But they are a nuisance. It cost me a lot of money over the last few matches. I know, I don't know, you know. I even put a lure in, right? And a lure, and I try spinning with it, and they just won't take it. They want a live fish. So I'm afraid it's one of the things you just have to put up with, like, you know, and just try and. In fact, I felt sorry for one fish I had on just gone now on Wednesday. I hooked this perch, and it was a nice one. As I was bringing it in, it was sort of coming in, and all of a sudden it ran like hell. It sort of went, you know, to the side, and I know the bloody pike's attacking that. So I thought I'd bring it to the surface. Started bringing it on top of the surface, and the pike only jumped out of the bloody water and grabbed the thing, and it was a good half pounder. So poor bloody thing. I felt sorry for the pike. Anyway, what happened? I had the pike on as I was playing him. I got my landing net. I was trying to bloody poke the pike, so he let go, but he didn't. Snap me, took the bloody fish as well. Yeah, sorry, it's one of them things. I don't think we just got to wait for a bit of water, and I think when the water colours up, because a pike hunt on sight, you know, than anything else. So yeah, that's the reason I think. So yeah. So you had a bit of a nut down 30. Yeah, oh well. Right, Andrew. Clive, not a bad angler. How do I become as good as the top anglers? Any advice? Well, as I mentioned last week, I think it's the more effort, the more practice you put in, the luckier you become. But you'll find that some anglers, for some reason, it's all about positive mental attitudes. In fact, I was talking to somebody today about it, and that was about positive attitude. And when I think back, and you ask any of the top anglers, I used to believe I was so positive in what I should do. I used to believe when I should go to the draw bag, I would draw certain pegs, and I do it. I used to believe I used to go to a match and I believe I'm going to win this, or I believe I'm going to, and you really got to believe it. And that's how you become better than others. It's like I mentioned last week, you have, snooker players, dart players, tennis players. What makes them better than others? It's the positive attitude. It's like two boxes. You get two boxes the same weight, same, in every respect, reach, punch, and even the same boxing regime. But one will beat the other because one has got more of a positive mental attitude than the other. I'm not saying the other one haven't, but he's got more, obviously, because he beats him. And this is my advice. When you go fishing, believe in yourself that you're going to win and you're going to do well. Okay, I hope that'll help you anyway, because that's the way I've always been, and I've even wrote about it before. I remember the Angling Times calling me Barmy once. It's Clive Branson, brilliant or Barmy. Yeah, maybe I'm both. I don't know. But thanks for asking. That's what I would do anyway. Right, okay. Steve, thanks, Clive, on the cadence. Yeah, Crimbo on the Crimbo list. Andrew, it's a case of watching and learning. Yeah, that's true. You've got to learn. Some anglers can see things more than others. They can see these little things, and it's only down to practice. It's like when you go. I remember Colin Perry. I'd done an interview with him, and it was interesting because he was saying he would look at the water and he would look at the river, and he would look how it's flowing, look for little boils, and he knows that there's a stone or a boulder that's creating that, so there's going to be a dip under it. The same with the flow. You find you get glides, which means that's running faster, and water comes down in blocks as well. I don't know if you know that. A lot of time it's caused by, I suppose, locks and that sort of thing. But on rivers like the Y and 7, where there's not so much, but you do get in blocks, obviously, and the water will be running through a bit faster the next minute, so things like that you've got to observe, and as I say, it's called watercraft, isn't it? At the end of the day, anyway, thanks for that. Right, Neil, I still use the 13-foot Shakespeare. Yeah, that's a good rod, the old president. Yeah, but was thinking of getting a 15-foot. There's a lot. Yeah, well, they are heavier, obviously. The longer the rod, the heavier. 13 foot's ideal, isn't it? Nice weight. Cadence is about the best I've come across. Except for maybe the acolytes, but I think they're a bit brittle for me. For my type of fishing. All right, Steve, Clive, one more question. Okay, was that barbed, microbab, or barbless when matching? Microbab, without a doubt. I use barbless. Fish come off it. They do come off it, So I don't use a full barb because I don't want to damage a fish. But micro barb, and if that's the case, squeeze it down. That's what I do quite often. Okay, Andrew. Jeff Collins. Do you think if you fish too much that anglers drop out of the sport and it's all right? That drop out of the sport and then start up. 10 years layoff and then started carp fishing. I originally started that fishing, but enjoyed the nights. Yeah. Well, there's a lot of anglers watching my vlogs who have stopped fishing, but it's inspired them to come back. One or two have said they've never fished matches before. One or two said, after watching the vlogs, they think, yeah, they miss it and they want to come back. And one or two have, and they've messaged me, so yeah. Sometimes when you have a layoff, you want to come back. As I said, as a match angler, we're always learning, and any even pleasure anglers or just casual anglers can learn off match anglers because they're on top of the game, so to speak. So yeah. Andrew, I also think you have to make the decisions at the right time, change to a different method. Well, that is true. That's why you have an A, B, and a C plan, don't you? Whatever you're doing. You know, A don't work, you try to a B, and then if that don't, then you got to C, and then you're on your C, and if that all fails, give up. No, we're joking. Go back to A again. Something's going to work. Something does work. You can only get the best out of your swim, and as I mentioned before, always look small. Always look to win your little section of 5 or 10, and if that happens to be the best section in the match, you win the match. Simple as that. You could start off just trying to beat the anglers on both sides of you. That's a bit of fun. And then when people beat me, they say, "Oh, I just beat a world champion." Good luck to him. It's great. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see people come on like that. Anthony, what's the most recent thing you learned in fishing recently? Oh, blimey, I'm learning lots of things. I tell you what I am learning. Obviously, when I go to fishing venues, I learn a lot about the venue itself. Fish tend to feed differently as well in different venues. Like you go to one venue and they return onto hemp. You go to another. Like one of my methods used to blast the hemp in with little maggots. That don't work. That's not working lately. Maybe who knows? It could be the weather and things like that. I don't know. And Howard mentioned, he done a vlog with me last week about hemp fishing, and he was saying, it's all down to where the fish want to be in the swim. It's not where you want them to be; it's where they want to be. So you find that out, and that's one of the things I learned. And yes, it's other things I suppose. Of course, look, I've been at it about 50 odd years now, match fishing, and I've probably seen it, wore the t-shirt, but there's always things to learn. So I and I'm grateful enough to say, yeah, I can learn off other people. As I mentioned, I think last week we were fishing the Gloucester Canal, and a local lad, don't fish matches, was fishing a worm against the pylons, and catching his chub, and nobody else was catching them. So we tried it in a match, and it worked. So yeah, you can learn off everyone. You're never too old to just stop learning. Right, let's have a look where we got to. Andrew, all right, Andrew. I gave up on 2000, but enjoy your vlogs. Great, and glad you do. And if you come back and leave a comment, it's great. How can I get a book, mate? How can I get? Oh, what you mean? One of my books? I got a couple of books. I've written. One is my autobiography, of course. One is Fishing with Legends, all the legends I fished in my life, and I've written a couple of others, about coarse fishing and about fish generally. If you go to Amazon, because I do them all through Amazon, and you can order them through Amazon. So yeah. I've even got one about float fishing that I do myself. So if you want to message me, it's all the known floats, pole floats, waggler stick floats, and in fact, next vlog I'll show you. It's quite a big volume of it, Hi, Steve. Well, okay, Tim. Clive, were you the first person? Clive, you were the first person I saw use a sort of pencil float on the pole back in the late 90s. Yeah, I love them. I love them for roach float. Do you still use? Yeah, in fact, that was the float I used on the Avon quite a lot. I won the pole championships when it first came out. Back about that time, and I use the pencil float, and very light shotting down, and it picks up the flow a lot better. The Avon, it's sometimes you can't get no flow on it, and the fish like that flow, and sometimes the surface is actually is going faster than the bottom, is it? Sometimes, you tell that. And when they're using a light float, you can actually see it go in like that sometimes. So the surface. But yeah, those pencil floats are a real good float, especially in deep water, Yeah. Pat. Hiya, Pat. Marcy. Just fishing vlogs. Best from the Blast from the Past. Yeah, Scotland versus Wales. Yeah, I know. Where did I get that from? Somebody sent it to me, I think. I've just seen this on your channel. I was going to compare. I was doing the compete on this video. Oh yeah, and we were young, and yeah, do you show young and handsome we were? I know, we're very old men now, aren't we? But I remember good old days. Cheers, Pat. That's a great little vlog there. Ian, all right, Ian. Great vlogs. Much to discuss. I sit up till 2, in the morning when a new one appears lately. I know. I tell you what happens. I make them, and it's not, and of course it's not as simple as just filming. You gotta cut them, edit them, and you gotta upload them software, and it takes a few hours. And then by the time I do it, it's like 11 in the night. So I put it on and I go to bed then and break them in the morning. To my surprise, a few hundred have watched it overnight. So you're one of them. But like I said, a lot of them from abroad, New Zealand, Australia, Thailand, and people, watch it. So yeah. So like you got a question. Sorry. What is your favorite venue to fish a match, and what peg would you like? That's a good question. Where there's fish, I suppose. That's the answer there, Ian. But I think you can't beat roach and dace. Chub. I love chub fishing. I remember doing a couple of vlogs on bread fishing once, and I won the Riverfest the other year, didn't I? Using lumps of bread, and I'll always start on the bread. So yeah, that's one of my favorite fishing methods. Waggler, I like waggler fishing, fishing long distance waggler, fishing. I like stick float fish. I love it all. Natural fishing, that's what I like. So, and I suppose it'd be the why, with the bread, if I had to pick one favorite. Ian, yeah. But thanks for the question. Neil Smith, hi mate. Never fished the River Wye. Okay, Clive. But the BA card, I've got have a stretch called what's it called? Sotledge. Yeah. Have you? I don't think I fished that bit, to be honest, Neil. I fished a lot of the Wye. I mean, I was brought up on the lower Wye, Redbrook, Bigswear, and below. And then, of course, we went to Hereford and Belmont, Rossall Wye and that. But a lot of the river is very similar. A lot of pegs are different, and a lot of pegs are the same. The fast water, it's like the Severn. You can get away with it, bigger hooks, heavier line, because bear in mind the fish not caught as much. It's not fished like 3 matches a week or every day of the week. We used to fish. We call it the wild Wye. We used to go up to the top of Bute Wells, and they never saw an angler before. And we used to catch, massive bags of fish. We had to take them away in them days. But no, the Wye is a bit wild. Even to this day, it was a predominantly game river for many years. But now, coarse fishing's come on, and it's in fact they make more money on coarse fishing now, even though there's an organisation now running the YNS Foundation. They seem to be taking control, and now they get that stupid prices like 25 quid, 50 quid a day for coarse fishing. That's a bit beyond that. So but there's still a few owners on the Wye who still do it for a £5, and a £10 at the most, So yeah, great. Glad you're fishing the Wye. It's good fishing. Yeah, just use the same methods you do on the Severn, really. Whether it's feeder fishing or chub fishing, balsa fishing, heavy waggler fishing, that sort of thing. Yeah, great. Stephen, okay, hi Steve. What reel line do you use for waggler fishing? There's so many to choose from. Right. Do you know, it's only up to recently I've just run out of Bayer Purlon. I know it's 20, 30 years old, that line was, but it was still good. And I just run out of it now. So I've been experimenting myself. I think Drennan do a Bayer line, don't they? A Purlon, they call it Bayer Purlon. It's not the same as the old original one, like, but Dave Farrell is doing a line. I haven't tried his yet. Oh, I tell you what I tried the other day was Drennan feeder line. That's a silicone line. And I thought that would work, but it sinks, so that's the trouble. You need to get a floating line. So yeah, the old Maximas are quite good for the heavier type of fishing. I've got a few different lines I've been trying, so I'll keep you posted on that. Find out which one I think. One of the best lines ever was the old Water Queen. Special Anglaise, it was called. It was a silicone line, and it was great. It used to fly off the reel, so the rod's easy, and it didn't brace at all. It was really, really subtle, but can't get that now. So a bit of a long story. It's in my autobiography about the old Water Queen company, but yeah, great company, some great products ahead of their time. I remember when I first come into going around all the tackle shops trying to promote it. They said, "Oh, it won't catch on this low diameter, stretch line." Oh no, we all use it now, don't we? But there you are. I'll leave it on that. Okay. All right, Steve's all right. Jeff, watch your original videos so many times. Does this Ken still fish? Do you know, I don't know, mate. It might be nice to catch up with him, but I think he's probably gone by now because he was quite old when I knew him. But he's a nice guy. He's one of them nice guys in life, and everything I taught him, everything I told him to do, he done opposite. But yeah, no, he's a nice guy, Ken. I don't know whatever happened to him. Don't know. Sorry about that. Andrew. 87 Evesham. Oh, don't talk about that one. I know. Well, the thing was, Andrew, what Andrew's referring to is the fact that there was a clash of matches on the Bewdley float only and the Evesham veterans match. Well, I always fish for veterans, and it's only once a year. Well, the thing was, I was also in the float league. And I fished that the last 3 years. And as it happened, if I hadn't fished the float, because it clashed, if I fished the float only one, and if I hadn't fished it, then I would have bombed out. So I got my friend Richie Canty to draw peg 87. Draw for me at Evesham because I'd already paid for the ticket. And he drew 87. I was thinking, oh, shall I go and fish that one? And I heard through the grapevine I only had to turn up. And I would have probably won the match because there was only one with £6 on it. Going up to then, I was doing well on the Evesham. I started just picking up on the main prizes. So there you are. Anyway, it's one of the things. I make a decision, and whichever way I was going to go, I bombed out on both now, so it doesn't matter. But hey, good fun on it. Right then, where are we now? Right, Terry. Okay, Terry. Clive fished against you at Reading. Oh, okay, yeah, Riverfest last week. Oh yeah. How much cost wise? So you bought per match? Yeah, well, this is the trouble in it, 35 for the booking, 25 quid for pools, then your bait, then you're traveling. Whew, I know. It's not normal, no, Terry. You don't normally pay, 50, 60 quid. Normally your pools is 25 quid, something like that. No, it's gone up a little bit, 25 quid. But no, the thing is, all this money, right? And it makes me laugh, like the Riverfest and the Evesham matches. They say, oh, we got these big £5,000 or 10 grand payouts. But when you add it up, it's the anglers who are putting the money in and paying for it. We're fishing for our own money, which is a shame, really. But that we haven't got no major sponsors. If you had a major sponsor like the Maver commercial, the people are putting money into commercials, but not the naturals, which is a shame, really, because I know Dave Adel, his conception, regarding the Riverfest has worked out quite well, but of course we're all paying for it. The anglers, there's hardly any money, there's no sponsorship money, it's all our own money. So yeah, unfortunately, if you go for those events, it's a bit of a gamble. You pay, you take your chance. Do you know, I was talking to one of the guys earlier, and he's fished 21 Riverfest matches. So you work out the cost of that at what, 60 quid a time, plus his travelling. And he hadn't qualified. I'm not, no names mentioned, but yeah, either they're bloody nuts. Anyway, all right. Hiya, Neil. How much bait do you usually take on matches? Well, do you know, on average, that's the best way to, because every match is different. I know why. I will take a minimum of 6 pints, at least a gallon. Most matches 2-3 pints, 3 pints. 2 or 3 maggots, 1 or 2 of casters, and usually a pint or 2 of hemp. It's not all going to go in, but I'd like to have it just as a backup. Very rarely do you ever use more than that anywhere, unless you're fishing Hawaii. That's the only place, or Ireland, But no, so sometimes I've gone with 3 pints of maggots and only used like a handful of it, So yeah, but make sure you take enough, because I tell you what, it's a cardinal sin running out of bait. I remember a friend of mine doing that once in a match, and he was on for a big weight, and he just didn't have enough maggot with him, and but okay, that's a little bit of advice. That's good advice. That. Okay. Can you recollect a national you fished on the Royal Military Canal? No, I drew next to apology. I was the angler below you who caught an large bream. Yeah, blimey, that's a blast from the past, isn't it? Yeah, the old military. Yeah. Now, I miss them old days. The old nationals. Remember the old nationals? We nomads. That's why we call ourselves nomads, because we had to travel, and we were like nomads. But fishing those nationals all over the country was great fun. And then it got fragmented, didn't it? First, second, third, fourth divisions, and then we used to really enjoy them. It's a shame. Yeah, it's a pity that. I mean, I know nationals are still going, I think, but they haven't got the excitement as they used to have. Well, I suppose a lot of fishing have gone that way. Okay, well, look, lads, it's been an hour now. The main thing is the reason I wanted to come on tonight is to go over the match, over my vlogs, but I got caught up in so many questions tonight. But what I'd like to do is obviously in future is to go over my vlogs, just to basically go through a few things, because a lot of questions are asked on my vlogs, and even though I say put a thumb up or thank you or whatever, I don't actually answer them. So what I'd like to do is be able to answer them a bit more if I can. So when you watch the vlogs and you want to ask questions, then there's a chance that I'll answer you on the vlog, the following Monday. So I'm going to do it every Monday now rather than Friday, as I said at the beginning of this, because it clashes with Dave Taylor, who does one as well. I know he's not a match angler, but it's fishing, and I don't want to upset anyone's shoes, like sort of thing. So step in his shoes. So I'm going to change it to a Monday. Thanks to advice of one of the subscribers who did say, about this. So I said, okay, we'll do that. So I'll do it on a Monday. So I'll do another one. I know it's short notice, and it's only in a few days' time. But I got a few other things to talk about, as well as the match I'll be fishing, which, by the way, it'll be the Tide Fest on the Thames. If you saw my vlog last year, it's so different, because you start up at high tide, and as the tide goes down, you got to move all your gear step by step, down and down and down, and until it don't go out anymore. And all the time you got to, you got to get in the same spot, and something you got to move it. In fact, a friend of mine who passed away, rest in peace, Mike Martin Davis, died of COVID this year. He's won it 3 years running, and I believe they're going to name it after him, the competition. But he had a little technique, and well, he was a bit secretive, but I did get to know about it, and we'll see if it works anyway. If you don't, you don't, But it's a great bunch, and I'll hopefully bump into Keith out and have a little chat with him as well, so we can see that vlog then on the Monday, and I'll ask some more questions. Okay, let's have a look. Andrew, can't wait for that vlog. Okay, thanks, mate. Neil Smith, how much do you think fishing has changed since the glory days? Well, it did change, but it's coming back. I tell you why. As you know, I run a match fishing group on Facebook. 29,000 members. Now that tells me that, you know, it's match fishing starting to come back, and I hope more by doing these vlogs, I'm hoping more natural matches, more natural fishing matches will come back. You know, I don't knock the commercials. I think commercials have saved angling over the years because so many people dropped out of fishing. But you know, commercial fishing makes it so easy for people just to turn up, even if they've got no bait, they can just buy a bag of pellets on the, you know, the venue. So I'm not knocking it. I think it's great, and you know, good luck to the lads who do it and keep doing it, you know. But yeah, it's great to see. And I think the glory days may come back. I mean, certainly with big events like the Riverfest and things like that, if we can get some sponsors from outside of fishing, that's the secret. If we get something, you know, outside, then that'll be, you know, that'll be the secret, I think, and the answer to it all. Okay. Clive 54. Cheers, Clive. Loves your vlogs and that pike scare. Do you know what? I was watching it. Yeah, we frightened like for me. You know, well, they do. When you fish away, you're not expecting here. You know, all of a sudden, they bloody jump out of the water and the water bloody erupts. And of course, that last vlog, it happened. And I watched it. You know, as I was putting it together, I thought, oh, shit, even I jumped again then. I thought, bloody thing. But they're bloody nuisance, those things. But there you are. Right. Oh, so he tried to leave a message then. So okay. Can't stand that. All right. All right. Okay. I think that's about it now. Look, as I say, big thanks to everyone who's been who tuned in. Come back Monday, and hopefully we'll go through those couple of matches I fished and the one for Monday, and any more questions and answers. And I'm even going to run a little competition because remember I told you last week about the about these fish. I got the full set now. It's 20 in all. Okay, so I'm going to run a competition, and your chance of winning a couple or maybe a full set. They're great. You know, you put a bit of frame. I looked on they're going for 40 quid each, you know, on bloody Amazon. Somebody's selling them 40 quid each. Crazy. Anyway, okay. Thanks for watching. Nice to see you all. See you next time around. Whoop. Sorry about that. Somebody just asked me a question before I was going. Right. Oh, Clive, if you get the chance, if you haven't already, read the book, The National Angling Championships by John Essex, the first national. Yeah, okay, I will. Yeah, thanks for that, Ian. And the last one is, hi, Clive. Fish the Welsh Avon a lot, especially when it's glowing clear. Would you recommend always starting on the bread? On the Welsh Raven? No, not always. It's more of a winter bait. They started doing that this year, but like Ian Shepard and a few of them said, you know, sometimes they don't last. You'll catch a few quick, but it won't last. Anyway, thanks so much. Gotta go this time around. It's hard to get off when you're talking, but when you're enjoying yourself. All the best, boys. See you next time.